It's 6:30. Would everybody please rise and say the pledge with us? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome, everyone. I call the regular monthly meeting of the Salem School Board of Trustees to order. I have verified there's a quorum. First, we will deal with routine matters. Approved minutes of the executive regular session of April 10th, 2023, executive session of April 14th, 2023, executive session of April 19th, 2023, and special meeting of April 26th, 2023. Motion made by Rebecca White, seconded by Allison Ezell. All in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, same sign. Motion passes 6-0.
Hold on just a second. Jana, I don't think this is working. Sorry.
Rodney's not here, so you got a rookie over here you got to take care of for it, Jana. We good? Okay. Hey, I'd rather you stop us in the middle of it before we make a mistake. Approve agenda.
I'll make a motion.
Allison Ezell makes the motion, seconded by Becky Humphrey. All in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, same sign. Motion passes 6-0. Approve claims the date. Motion made by Ray, seconded by Steve Motzinger. All in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, same sign. Motion passes 6-0. Approval of personnel and ECA recommendations. Jamie Wilson, resignation from BSc Physical Education teacher. Leslie Singleton, resignation from SHS Science teacher. Verta Slinkert, resignation from SHS Choir teacher, effective June 2, 2023. Jean Dowan, resignation from SCS Band Director, effective May 27, 2023. Kathy Hayes, retirement from full-time special ed instructional assistant at the end of the 2022-2023 school year, returning part-time at the beginning of the 2023-2024 school year. Beth Wilcox, BSE homebound instructor. Jeremy Lee, Reach instructor. Brian Gleasing, Frank Mizak, Todd Alexander, and John Haven, SHS summer school teachers. Randy Nichols and Derek Early, SMS summer school teachers. Liz Bundy, Rachel Irwin, and Elena Davidson, BSC summer school teachers. Krista Michaels, Emily Johnson, Randy Nichols, John Calhoun, Lisa Nice, BSE SMS SHS summer school high ability teachers.
I'll make a motion.
Allison Ezell makes the motion to accept.
I'll second.
Seconded by Rebecca White. All in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, same sign. Motion passes 6-0. Donations, and I'll read the donations all at once as well. Consider approval of a donation to SHS Science Club for $350 from Hoosier Uplands Economic Development Corporation. This donation is to be used for the tree planting project. Consider approval of a donation at the Salem High School Band for $375 from the Washington County Community Foundation Barbara Custer Memorial Fund. This donation is to be used as needed. Consider approval of a donation to the SHS class of 2027 for $100 from parents who organized the 2023 8th grade prom. This donation is to be used for the 2026 prom with the class of 2027 will host. Consider approval of donation to the Salem Schools Nutrition Program for $500 from Tri Kappa. This donation is to be used for the Needy Student Fund. Consider approval of a donation to Salem High School Band for $100 from Roseanne Quattroque's Art Gives Back program. Consider approval of the following donations to the Salem High School Boys Golf Team. $300 for Elizabeth and Joseph Smith. $300 for Future Electric, $100 from Richard and Lori Campbell, $500 from Worley Lumber. Consider approval of a donation to Salem Community Schools for $2,500 from Blue River Wood Products to go towards the dam project. Nobody got that. Consider approval of a donation to the SHS Boys Golf Team from the following: $500 GKN, $250 Eddie Gilstrap Motors. Consider approval of a donation to the Salem Middle School for $100 from Ace Hardware for the SMS Drama Club. Consider approval of a donation to Salem Middle School Art Department for $50 from the Art Gives Back program.
I'll make the motion.
Rebecca White makes the motion, seconded by Ray Opal. All in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, same sign. That was a joke on your behalf, wasn't it, Jana? Action items. Consider appointments to the Washington County Community Foundation. I believe Miss Judy Johnson is here. Am I missing a page? Oh, I'm sorry, Judy. I totally skipped something. Comments from the audience. Sorry, Judy. I saw blue and I went immediately to the blue instead of looking through the black there.
Good evening. There.
Hi, Mindy.
My name is Mindy Blevins-Borden, and I'm an instructional assistant at Brady Shrum. I'm here tonight to discuss some concerns I have for the next school year. I'm speaking to you tonight with a different demeanor than I would have had a month ago. This is largely in part due to Dr. Rutherford meeting with me last Thursday at school. I appreciate him taking time to speak with me about my concerns. However, I still felt the need to address the board tonight. Last month, I sent a letter to the board in regards to IAs being pulled to substitute teach in classrooms. And yes, no matter what phrase is used to describe it, whether it's cover a room, guest teacher, or babysitter, it's still called substitute teaching. I recently was on leave because of a surgery that I had to have. That was my second major surgery since last June. My body has went through a lot this year. The trauma and changes to my body not only affected me physically, but emotionally as well as far as my nerves are concerned. As I was preparing to return on March 8th on light duty from my leave, I became aware of how many IAs were being sent to other classrooms. For the first time in 7 years, I dreaded walking into that school my first day back. I had looked up IA's job duties on the internet, and what I found accidentally was very disturbing. According to Indiana state law, every substitute teacher must acquire a license or permit. I do not have one of these. According to the IDOE, IAs or paraprofessionals are emphatically not supposed to be left in charge of a classroom. I am not a rule breaker. I am a Christian. I try to abide by the laws that are set, and knowingly breaking Indiana Department of Education rules is not okay with me. With everything that is happening in schools today across the country, I am letting all of you know tonight that I do not feel comfortable subbing in a room I have no business being in charge of, plain and simple. I understand that subs may be hard to come by. I understand that other schools do the same thing of pulling assistants. I also understand, having grown up in Salem and attending Salem High School and community schools, that this used to be a corporation with integrity. I now feel that is lacking. I hope that Salem can regain that by setting an example for other schools that it will follow rules set by IDOE and follow state law. I went through the proper channels on this issue. I took it first to my principal on March 21st, who said that she talked to Dr. Rutherford about it. The issue continued, so I brought it to you. You are not the highest authority I can take this to, but you were the next, and I hope the last. That is all I wish to say about that issue. One more thing I want to address briefly. Last week we were told we would not be in classrooms next year. I have been employed here for 7 years, and I have been with Jill Little all 7 years. We work well as a team, and our kids thrive in our classroom, not only academically, but also mentally. Our kids receive love, discipline, listening ears, and teachers they trust to talk to. I know how important those aspects were to me growing up because I had wonderful teachers. Kindergarten and first grade need that extra person in their rooms. I can't tell you how many kids over the years and how many times have come to my desk just to talk, just to unload or get a hug. They need that. They feel loved, they feel important, and if the teacher is in there alone, I know they will do their best to teach and listen, but it will be harder to meet all kids' needs. I was very upset last Wednesday, and I still am. I'm good at my job, the job I was hired in 7 years ago to do. I love my job, and by job, I mean the kids. We all want what's best for them. And if we're not there next year, who are they going to turn to? Are they going to have to wait until a counselor is available to talk? That's not fair to them. And it's so sad that some people think that the best that they can do for the kids, doing their best for them, is to take us out of our classrooms. Sometimes it includes much more than academics for these kids. They need more. I would like this to be put on record, and thank you for your time.
Brown. Judy's next. Or Judy's after the
Good
presentation.
evening. I just want to share some things that I would like to recognize. Representing Salem High School, I recognize a great scholar, a three-sport athlete, a leader in our clubs, and a leader in our schools. Sydney Brown was named on April 20th as a Regional Indiana All-Star by the Indiana Association of School Principals, which I am a member of and District 12 President. I would like to say that she was recognized as one of the top 90 students in the state of Indiana from approximately 273 nominations. Sydney is the second student at Salem High School in the past 6 years to be recognized with this honor. In 20 years as a principal of high schools, I've had only 2 reach that regional all-star status. The other 18 years, the students received Indiana honorable mention. I'd like to congratulate Sydney Brown, the class of 23, to this honor, and I am proud to present her with the Salem Community Schools Roar Award. Please come forward. Sure.
Okay, next we'll have a presentation by the Disney Club.
Ladies and gentlemen, what you are about to see is the hard work of many talented and creative students. This trip has changed their hearts, minds, and perspectives in many different ways. From this presentation, we hope to share some of the magic from this wonderful experience. Now we urge you to sit back, relax, and enjoy.
Coming into Disney, this is how we felt at the airport. It was, for some people, they were excited and anxious. I was really sleepy because we had to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning.
I was all of them at one point.
Okay. Day one from arriving from the airport consisted of venturing around the resort first and getting to explore Disney Springs. From here we were able to shop, eat, explore, and overall get to know everyone a little bit better. This was the first exposure to everyone and was the beginning of our bonding for the week.
When we first arrived at the restaurant, we sat at 3 different tables. One table was the vanilla yogurt, which you had We first, from this, it was evident that everyone had decided to sit with who they knew and were comfortable with. Yet, from here, the motion was excitement. Excitement for what the week had yet to hold, and what other different things here yet to experience. From when you first enter the space, the atmosphere immediately immersed you within the tradition of Irish culture. From the traditional live music began playing to even the dancing on the stage doing a traditional Irish dance. The restaurant did not fall short of the theming. Upon looking at the menu, it was clear that the items carried they were similar to what we had been used to eating, but were seemed a little foreign. The main difference was that the food was seasoned differently, and this made the most impact. And of course, this could contribute to the difference in cultures than some of us were used to.
Our next stop was just the Disney Springs experience. While visiting Disney Springs, people were able to split up and get to know each other before the trip was able to fully begin. This is one thing that allowed everyone to become more comfortable with each other, and if there was anything that everyone had in common, it was definitely shopping. Exploring Disney Springs brought new light to the importance of utilizing space and generating a design that is profitable and comfortable. The layout of the walkways was designed so that you would, quote, get lost and want to shop more, yet the buildings and shops were designed within different districts. These districts included the Marketplace, the Landing, Town Center, and West Side. This clever design is what makes Disney Springs like no other shopping center, and that is the theming and sheer scale of it all. In total, Disney Springs takes up around 120 acres of land.
Day 2, we went to Magic Kingdom. Begin quote, "Here you leave today and enter the world of yesterday, tomorrow, and fantasy," end quote. On our second day in Florida, it was only fitting that our first park would be the first park built at the resort. The park opened October 1st, 1971, and included most rides that were previously built in the Disneyland Park in California. Imagination Campus. When first meeting the instructor, I knew the class was going to be interesting. She asked if anyone was interested in a career in Imagineering and taught the history of the company and the park. From the class, we learned that the layout and design of the park is just as important as the rides that reside in it. From this, we learned how to effectively design a park with guests and climate in mind, and how to choose materials that apply to the guests and the theme. In regards to creating a story, we learned to pick a theme and run with it. Try your best to make sure that you can keep the story without ruining the magic for the guests.
So, the Magic Kingdom experience. So, once you get out of the gate, you're instantly bombasted with the sights, the smells of a town from around the turn of the century, as if you were Walt Disney as a child. This immediately captures your imagination as you walk through the gates. Then as you're taking in all of it, suddenly, boom, the castle, the central point of the entire park. It's used as a central point to go between all the parks: Adventureland, Frontierland, Tomorrowland, and also it helps to use as it and the other buildings are used as a sight line to conceal any unwanted attention from show buildings, AC units, electrical units, etc. To immerse the guests in the themes of the land. Obviously, the exception being the castle, which allows guests to find their way back. Like I said,
Walt Disney chose to include Tomorrowland to showcase his vision of the future. He also wanted to show the people how innovation could completely change the environment and what progress might look like in the future. From when it first opened, along with the rest of the park in 1971, Tomorrowland was home to just Tomorrowland Speedway. Since then, Space Mountain, Carousel Progress, the People Mover, Astro Orbiter, Buzz Lightyear, Space Ranger, I can't say that, Monsters Inc., Laugh Floor, and Tron Light Cycle Power Run. Within Tomorrowland, the main theme of attraction is futuristic and heavily based around electronics. All rides are minimalist style with futuristic influence.
Fantasyland. In Fantasyland, there are rides such as the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, Peter Pan's Flight, and the Journey of the Little Mermaid. These rides are all classic stories that people all around the world have seen or read. Walt Disney wanted Fantasyland to give off the facade that the beloved characters and worlds are coming to life and the visitors are actually a part and inside the story. Each ride is themed from a well-known story. The Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, for example, takes the guest through the story of Snow White. Each ride's theme completely engulfs the people in that one story, keeping them focused on one theme at a time, making you feel like you are actually a part of the story.
Adventureland. Walt Disney chose to include Adventureland in the park to evoke exciting settings from around the globe. Walt had a dream of far-off, exotic, and tropical places. Adventureland had changed from almost appearing as a garden of sorts to a dark and mysterious jungle. Through the years, new rides have been added based on new movies and refurbishments. Rides found in Adventureland are boat rides, spinning rides, walkthroughs, and even a show.
Right. So, while Tomorrowland was all about the future, however, Frontierland's all about the past, specifically the Wild West, the time of the cowboys, the Indians, and all that. It's also very well designed, set up in a manner as not formally structured like the time period it attempts to depict. The rides within here are Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, Walt Disney Frontier Railroad Station, and the future Tiana's Bayou Adventure. These rides also have the deep undertone of wild and non-conforming, just like the Old West once was. You're in charge of your own destiny, partner.
On our third day, we made our way to a Sono prototype community of tomorrow, or Epcot. This park was created in Walt Disney version of the future and is laid out similarly to the model that Disney himself created. This model can be seen on the People Mover within Tomorrowland at Magic Kingdom. In the park, we got to experience space, the future, the land, and the world today. From here, we were able to learn about our world and even how we can improve and take care of it. From visiting the countries, we learned many different things about them and their cultures. While doing so, we were able to experience the firsthand while dining in the restaurants. When eating in different countries, we were able to debate between a typical American meal and what other countries enjoy. In doing so, we were able to learn different customs that these countries have with their food. For example, while eating in lunch in Japan, we were served rice, chicken, and sushi. While this was different to some people, it was entirely different to everyone to use chopsticks. Some tried, but we decided to go with conventional forks. It played a large role in dining experience. The waitress, and cooks were all from the country that we ate at. So that meant that we were treated to their customs and were encouraged to act in the manner out of respect. These are everyone's favorite countries. As you see, everyone has a different country, and some people would like to share what countries they liked.
So I chose Mexico as one of my favorite countries because I've actually been to Mexico, and it was really neat to see how Epcot really made it feel like you were actually in Mexico. Seeing the culture, it was very accurate as to what I actually saw being in Cancun when I went. So that's why I chose Mexico as my favorite. Anybody else want to share?
From March 1st to July 5th, you can find yourself immersed in the Flower and Garden Festival in Epcot. Around the park, there are numerous absets, a boutique filled with flowers and corners of flowers made up like your favorite Disney characters. These aspects can be found within the World Showcase. Within each country, there is a display corresponding to the culture, plant life around there. As an example, and within the American culture, and within the display, there are magnolias. These plants find their original within the southern United States. Along with these beautiful flowers is the beautiful Princess Tiana, who can be found within the display. Her statue is made up of luscious green plants to accommodate her well-known green dress.
In Living with the Land, we learned about all different types of farming and how they are essential in making human life sustainable. In Living with the Land, the riders are shown different types of plants and techniques to grow certain different types of plants. There are plants that were grouped vertically and plants that were glued along this really cool net-like structure. There was also aquaculture tanks, which had topaya, and other kinds of fish. These aquaculture tanks help to allow plants to have sustainable fertilizer, which is fish poop. This allowed the plants to grow effectively without the cast members having to constantly give the plants more fertilizer.
So the food being grown here is real. There are many different types of food, ranging from more common foods like watermelon to more exotic fruits like the dragon fruit. These fruits are then distributed to the different restaurants in the parks, where they are then to be consumed by the guests. Agriculture and aquaculture have helped humanity survive in the world in different ways, but it has also changed the way that we live. Agriculture has allowed us to efficiently obtain more food by planting different kinds of plants. Humans have developed many different ways to speed up the growing process of plants by adding fertilizers such as compost or manure to give the plants more nutrients. Aquaculture has also helped humanity develop different and more effective ways to farm. Scientists have developed ways to utilize fish waste as a fertilizer for aquatic plants that are edible by humans. This means that agriculture and aquaculture are ways of life.
Soaring has always been one of the most immersive rides at Epcot and has offered a unique experience that simulates sight with its amazing imagery of the world we inhabit throughout its depictions of historic landmarks like the Great Wall of China, the Great Pyramids of Egypt. You also hear the sounds of the ocean, like the cheering of a crowd at a soccer game. Your sense of touch with the changing in temperatures and the wind you can feel in your face and hair. You could even smell the different locations, like the smell of the ocean. Soaring offered an amazing and immersive experience with its amazing CGI and depiction of our planet Earth, and I hope it only gets better with time.
The Living Seas at Epcot is home to aquariums filled with fish, turtles, rays, sharks, and more. Disney makes sure to take in these animals for conservation purposes without harming the environment. The Living Seas includes attractions such as Nemo and Friends and Turtle Talk with Crush, while also incorporating the importance of taking care of the ocean and the life within it. The Manatee Rehab Center is an area in the Living Seas where guests can see the rescue and rehabilitation process of manatees. Bruce's Shark World is another area where guests can learn about marine life by walking through an interactive exhibit.
In Mission Space, entering the queue, tensions were high, and the impending experience was yet to be had. We knew that the ride was going to be like no other, and that it would be more difficult to go through because we went through the Mars mission. This was the more intense of the two options. Boarding into our aircraft, we were assigned roles, and just like a real flight crew. From here, we were tasked with different roles within the mission. Mission Space is a simulator ride which is designed to simulate space travel. It does this by spinning the simulator and creating G-forces, and it really makes you feel as though you are actually flying on a shuttle. In the individual stations within the craft, there are many different switches and buttons, and they all have different controls, and this helps make you feel as though you are really an astronaut. Beginning of quote. I myself highly enjoyed the ride and wish to experience it again. It was the most fun I have ever had, second only to Tower of Terror. This ride really made me feel like an astronaut, and so did getting Astronaut of the Day right after. This was an amazing experience, and I would definitely want to go on it again. End quote.
Next from Epcot, we have Guardians of the Galaxy, the Cosmic Rewind. From first getting on the ride, we were immediately transported into the Marvel Universe, more specifically the Guardians of the Galaxy. When entering the building through the queue, you are immersed into the wonders of Xandar, which is a museum of the Xandarian people and the heroics of the Guardians. Throughout the queue, there are many different callbacks to the first Guardians movie. Overall, this ride is a definite must for both fans of the movie and non-fans. The experience is unlike anything and is both exhilarating and exciting. It is highly recommended by all the students that rode it. Throughout the trip, it was brought up in conversation almost every day. Within the ride, there are many techniques both seen and unseen before in other Disney rides. The most prominent feature of this ride is its spinning cars, and how they were able to swivel in correspondence with what scene you were immersed in. This is a technology which has yet to be seen in any other ride at the Walt Disney World. The launch sequence of the ride is one that catches you off guard. When you expect to be launched forward, you are instead launched at high speeds backwards into time. With the use of projections and physical props, the ride felt almost as if you were in space yourself.
For our fourth day, we took a step inside the silver screen and into the golden age of Hollywood. where we could experience the behind the scenes of movies and even live within them ourselves in a galaxy far, far away.
Hollywood, 1939. Not really. Although the story takes place in present day, this callback within the pre-show is a direct nod to the 1959 show, The Twilight Zone, hosted by Rod Serling. This show was the inspiration for the Tower of Terror. From the mangled outdoor facade to the cobweb-infested interior, the Tower of Terror does not fall short on its theme. And while exploring the abandoned halls, music from the Golden Age echoes throughout. Even the bellhops seem otherworldly, which further adds to the eerie atmosphere that the tower holds. This ride is a drop tower with elements of a trackless dark ride, which is one of the first attractions to have this special feature. Not only will this trackless element transport you into the fifth dimension, but so will another feature. The drop sequence is not only random, but was designed to pull you down faster than gravity can. This gives you an immense feeling of being weightless and adds to the fear factor.
The Imagineers created the sense of immersion in Galaxy's Edge by utilizing many different factors such as sights, the ships, sounds, the sounds of everything being interacted with, and other things. Throughout the land, there are many different references to the different projects in the Star Wars universe. From the prequels to the sequels, there are references everywhere. For example, outside the droid depot, there is a decommissioned Viper probe droid, and to add immersion with help from the Disney Play app, you can reactivate the droid. This then causes it to light up and make noise. Also noticed on Smuggler's Run is the famous Weequay pirate Hondo Ohnaka, which is a character first seen in the Clone Wars series, and he reprises his role of taking dangerous adventures for credits. As previously mentioned, through the use of the Disney Play app, you are given the opportunity to interact with many different elements within the land. From the map, which can be found on the app, you are then able to locate all of the interactive elements. These include translating, jobs, and some people's personal favorites, hacking different objects using the app.
Welcome to Andy's Backyard, where you get to experience what it is like to be a toy and leave all responsibility behind. This land is themed after a backyard which is taken over by a carnival led by your favorite cast of characters from this Toy Story franchise. From the picket fence in the distance to the massive footprints along the walkway, you are immersed within the theming at every turn. Attractions found within the land include Slinky Dog Dash, where you will hop on Slinky Dog for a thrilling ride around the yard, alien swirling saucers, and you get to spin with the lovable aliens, Toy Story Mania, where we would go head-to-head to compete in a fun 4D shooting gallery, stop in at Andy's Lunchbox, where even the theming doesn't stop, and you might encounter Andy himself.
So Phantasmic was absolutely surreal. The show utilized all elements including water, fire, pyrotechnics, projections, and many more. The show included an epic battle between good and evil that incorporated everyone's favorite characters. The setting of the story was within the dream of Mickey, where the villains tried to take over him, but with his powers he was able to overcome this immense challenge and prove victorious over the forces of evil. So on our 5th day, we got to experience nature firsthand and travel all over the world to see how animals look and behave in their natural environment. Ever since the park opened on Earth Day in 1998, it has been home to a place where conservation is the main message for guests. From Cali River Rapids to Pandora, we were taught to take care of our planet and respect the life that resides there.
So the story of Expedition Everest is that you are a hiker who is riding the train which takes you through the Forbidden Mountain, and suddenly come under attack by the vicious Yeti. The theme is adventure, and what better way to immerse guests in adventure than to place them in one of the most inhospitable places on Earth, Mount Everest. The queue is where you begin your journey first, and already you can feel a sense of unease. This is because of the many different warnings about the Yeti that can be found and many different shrines to honor the creature. From when you first load onto the train and your way up the mountain, you come to realize the immense size. All throughout, you can hear the Yeti's roars, which give you a sense of impending doom. Expedition Everest takes place within the small village in Nepal. The village is named Surkazong, and it's where your adventure begins. While exploring the queue, you will come across many different artifacts. They might look real because they are real. Imagineers actually ventured to Nepal and collected many different artifacts and information about the country's architecture and culture. Most of the artifacts seen within the queue were handmade by craftsmen in Nepal and shipped to the park.
The Maharaja Jungle Trek is an immersive expedition. Throughout your journey, we were able to see many different animals that call Asia home. While exploring the ruins of a temple, we were able to spot tigers, water buffalo, many types of birds, gibbons, and kimono dragons. Throughout the trek, the South Asian theming gave insight into how different cultures in the area revere these animals. Overall, the experience was incredible and really showed how these animals live, what they look like up close, and where they come from. I was actually able to talk to a cast member on the Jungle Trek about what classes she would recommend me taking to pursue my career in primatology. I was also able to learn about their college program, which gave me a lot to think about. Did you know that elephants have the best memory? The experience of getting to draw with an Imagineer was very interesting and was something different that will be remembered by all, especially since we're able to draw Thumper the rabbit from Bambi. If given the opportunity, I would highly recommend doing it again, not only because it was educational, but also because it was interesting to see how well everyone else's drawings turned out.
It's Tough to Be a Bug is the place where people go in but come out changed. The show is fun, immersive, and makes your skin crawl. Throughout the show, we had many laughs, and in other parts, we winced and regretted stepping into the theater. The 3D part of the experience was very interesting because not only were there things coming out of the screen, but we were able to feel some of them too. From a stink bug, a shooting spider, to a fly swatter. The experience was unique to say the least, and overall gives a newfound insight into the life of a bug. I would highly recommend this show to anyone who has not had the pleasure to experience for themselves. If you have seen it before, I highly recommend that you bring someone who hasn't. It will mean that you get 2 shows for 1.
Pandora, a hostile environment home to the Na'vi. Themed after Avatar movies by James Cameron, Pandora, the world of Avatar, is a wonder to behold. From alien plants to the different creatures lurking beneath the bush and incredible floating mountains, Pandora is teeming with otherworldly life. Flight of Passage is a must when visiting the land. As you link your avatar, you are transported to the back of a banshee. From here you fly and explore Pandora in all of its beauty and all of its dangers. Being based off the movies, there are many different references to the human past and present on the planet. There are remnants from the cooperation known as the RDA. There are also leftover amp suits and handprints in the cave. California Grill. From getting on the express elevator to getting off at the top, we were not prepared for what was in store for us. Upon arriving, we were greeted with warm welcomes and a great meal. The menu was divided into 3 different courses, and looking at each item, it was very difficult to choose. By far the most popular item was the wontons, which was the hot ticket item of the night. Not only did the restaurant have great food, but it had an even greater view. Even from the inside of the view, the Magic Kingdom was spectacular, but we decided to venture outside onto the terrace of the show. From here, we experienced enchantment like never before, and by the end, we were all sad that it was over. Not only was the meal a perfect experience, but it was also a wonderful way to end the week. And I miss it a lot, so don't judge me.
These were all of our emotions leaving. Standing up here, some of us are sad. I'm very sad. Exhausted from a long trip, but it was so worth it. Hopeful for next year. And then next we have letters from Henryville students, which are actually sitting in the back. We won't make you read all through them. Yeah. Just to show you. Just to show you that this trip actually meant a lot to them as well.
Sometimes the hardest thing to say is goodbye. Yet for all of us, this trip might not have been the end, but rather a new beginning. From the start, we all came in total strangers. In the end, we left as close as siblings. We all walk different paths in life, and the path these wonderful people choose, I can guarantee will be the right path towards success. So with that, we just want to say aloha from our ohana, which means hello and goodbye, symbolizing respect and love to one another.
Okay.
like. I go to sleep sometimes, and I'm like.
They could have brought little bottles of water.
I appreciate that. Like, we've all been to Disney, but like never have we heard the things that you're telling us. So now we need to do a special trip to go. No, I mean all of us. Let's all go. Load up. No, I think you guys did a fantastic job, and I love that at your age you're how observant, and to now when you look at it, you're looking at it a different way, and you'll be able to future, always have that memory and that thought in your mind. So what a great opportunity. I'm very proud of you all, and I don't blame you. I'd be shedding tears too. You're making some great memories.
Disney sadness is worse than a breakup.
I know.
You just think, oh my gosh, I just get to go ride rides for a week with my friends. But then, like, leaving it, you just get to, like, you learn so much. Like, these people, I never would have seen in the hallway, but like, oh, that's, like, Hayden. I didn't even know who he was. And now I'm like, oh my gosh, it's Hayden. And then, like, the girls from Henryville and New Albany, like, it's like you just make friends while you're there. And, like, I was scared to meet them, but now I, like, love them all.
But you did a lot of work too. It looked like there was a lot. I mean, yeah, definitely. Awesome.
All right, I appreciate it, guys. Right now, we're getting ready to get into the nice, fun stuff. If you'd like to dismiss, we'll give you a couple minutes if you want to break away so we can deal with some action items. If not,
Thank you. Bye, guys.
okay, consider appointments to the Washington County Community Foundation. Miss Judy Johnson. Sorry, Judy.
Hi, I'm Judy Johnson with the Washington County Community Foundation. And every year, the school boards from all 3 school districts make appointments to our school board, to our board of directors. This year, we're recommending 2 appointments. The first one is to appoint Sherry Briscoe, who will be completing the term that has been vacated by Karen Smedley. Karen has moved to Indianapolis and is no longer able to fulfill her duties as a board member for the Community Foundation. Sherry is a graduate of the class of 71 and has been a nurse for many years and is now retired, and very much looking forward to serving on our board. And then Eric Zink, who will be starting his 3rd term with us. So at the end of this, he will have served 9 full years. So he's already completed 6 years. He's been on our finance committee all 6 years, as well as several other committees. So we feel very confident, that Sherry and Eric will do an excellent job as board members, and the nominee committee is submitting those 2 names to you for appointment to our board of directors.
Thank you, Judy. Appreciate it. Anyone? Rita?
Nope.
I'm sorry.
I need a motion.
Steve makes that motion. Seconded by Allison Ezell. All in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, same sign. Motion passes 6-0.
Okay. And then I just want to thank you. The Washington County Community Foundation very much appreciates the partnership that we have with Salem Community Schools. I've given you all information just to highlight some of the things that have happened this school year between the Community Foundation
and Salem Community Schools this Friday. We'll be awarding $130,000 in scholarships. This school year, we awarded over $7,000 in teacher grants, over $4,500 for STEAM Club and robotics. 17 employees are in payroll deduction programs right now. 11 students are in the Youth Foundation. $1,350 for field trips, $1,200 to the Broadcast Club, and $375 to the band. $500 for the 21st Century Scholars Incentive Program. We gave away hundreds of books to the 2nd and 3rd graders this year, and we were sponsors of the yearbook, athletics, and softball. We thank the Salem Community Schools for all the work that they do to enhance our community, and we definitely appreciate our partnership. Thank you.
Thank you.
I had this at the end, but just talking about that, I was actually going to thank the Community Foundation tonight for, I mean, Honor Day is one of my favorite days of the year, and the amount of work that goes into the scholarship reviews and making that possible for our students is really amazing and something to be proud of. So thank you.
And it's all about the donors. And without the donors to the Community Foundation, I wouldn't be here tonight. Y'all would still be here. I wouldn't. We're very grateful for our donors and for you all.
Well, we're thankful for the Community Foundation and what they bring to us.
Thank you.
And Honor Day is May 12th.
Friday morning, 9.
Consider approval of the community eligibility provision. Ms. Karen Lipka. Is she here? Yep.
Here she is.
Good evening. News hot off the presses before I start on CEP is all 3 kitchens were visited by our county health department today, and all 3 received perfect scores. So
good. Awesome.
So as you know, the elementary is already CEP, and we are actually in our 3rd year of that. Our numbers have gotten better, so we want to recertify the BSE. That will start us on a new journey of another 4 years. And with better numbers means a higher reimbursement. We'll get more money for the meals that we serve. So that's a good thing. That's a great thing. But in addition, Salem Middle School has finally reached the point where I think we can bring them on and sustain where we're at. Their numbers, by the time the multiplier comes along, we'll only be getting reimbursed for 70% of the meals we serve, but with the elementary numbers going up, and we're pretty good at procurement and watching every penny and all those other things, so I think we can make it happen for the middle school next year as well, and that will start them on a 4-year journey. So next year, 2 of our 3 schools will be on the community eligibility provision, which means all students will receive all meals free at those 2 schools. At the high school, we have free breakfast there already, and I don't see that changing next year. So lunch at the high school will be the only meal we have left, and we, as one of the donations tonight was to the Needy Student Fund there. As long as we keep that Needy Student Fund going, we're able to help those students that don't have money for lunch. So that's where we're at. And just a reminder, the community eligibility provision, there are no local tax dollars involved in doing this. The school nutrition program is fully self-sustained, so the school nutrition program receives no local tax dollars. The CEP program will not change that. So that doesn't tap into any of the school budget or the local tax dollars at all.
Okay.
Karen, I'd like to say thank you for all you do, and thank you for helping and keeping our students, you know, can't do math on a hungry with a hungry
No,
child.
no, you need food. We don't want hangry students.
Thank you for all you do.
Yes, I need a motion.
Thanks, Karen.
I'll make the motion.
Rebecca White makes the motion to consider approval, seconded by Allison Ezell. All in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, same sign. Motion passes 6-0. Consider approval of an out-of-state and overnight trip to Orlando, Florida for the Disney Club, March 2024. Amy Whitlatch and Josh Lewis. They already took off, didn't they? Motion made by Allison Ezell.
I'll second.
seconded by Rebecca White. All in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, same sign. Motion passes 6-0. Consider approval of an out-of-state field trip to Louisville, Kentucky for the Explorers Club on 5/28/23 with Miss Gail Hill. I don't think there's anybody here for that. Motion made by Allison Ezell, seconded by Rebecca White. All in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, same sign. Motion passes 6-0. Consider approval of an out-of-state field trip to Louisville, Kentucky for the CAM Club on 6/16/23, Gail Hill. Becky Humphrey makes that motion, seconded by Allison Ezell. All in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, same sign. Motion passes 6-0. Consider approval of an overnight field trip to Ball State University for Team Camp High School Volleyball on July 15th to 16th. Mr. Steve Bradbury.
I'll make the motion.
Rebecca White makes that motion, seconded by Becky Humphrey. All in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, same sign. Motion passes 6-0. Consider approval of an out-of-state field trip to Biztown, Louisville, Kentucky for Salem Middle School students on May 8th, 2023. Mrs. Autumn Gray. Motion made by Rebecca White, seconded by Allison Ezell. All in favor, raise your right hand.
I love Biztown.
Opposed, same sign.
Records, Jana.
Consider approval of Perfection as professional services for guaranteed energy savings and facility improvements for Salem Community Schools. Those gentlemen are going to do a presentation. That's fine.
Good evening, board. Thank you for having us. I'm Chad Shank. I'm with Perfection Group, and I am a senior account executive and business developer for them. And with me, we have Tony Apro. Tony has a long and storied career with our company. We're family owned. We're on our third generation of ownership with the two grandsons of the company that have taken the reins. Tony, prior president of the company, chief revenue officer, and a member of the board. So Tony is here, and he's going to talk a little bit about your packet and some of the things. We're going to be as brief as we can, and we'll have some time for questions. Tony's going to talk a little bit about who is Perfection Group.
Excuse me, I promise we will be quick. In 10 minutes we should be finished. I'm just going to poke you around that little booklet you have in front of you. So if you open up to page 1, three ugly mug shots on the top. 2 of them are here right this evening. The other one gentleman on the right is a gentleman who runs our green division, and he just happens to be my my oldest son. He is a twin, so, and his twin brother actually runs our facility services division, which I'll explain to you down here on the bottom. If you look at those 4 boxes on the bottom there, let's start with the one that says Design Build Solutions, and this is who we are, and that's how we got started in 1951. To be quite honest with you, we would design building systems when they were being built. We got smart in the 80s, and we said, you know what, when we build them, we probably should service them. And so we started that service business there on the left-hand side. What totally happened back in the mid-2000s, I kind of got a little bit ahead of the game, and I said, you know what, we are working as a contractor for these big energy services companies, fixing these buildings after they get no longer new. So I said, why don't we just start this energy efficiency sustainability group? And that's what we did in 2010. And I took that gentleman up there on the top hand right hand corner and 2 of his counterparts, and we put them in charge of starting our green division. And that's what we do. And the beauty of that is that we only do this in a niche market, basically. We only do it in cities, counties, and school systems because you have the most need. You don't tear buildings down. You need to renovate them and reinvigorate them. And then the 4th piece is that piece called facility services. And that's kind of new to us, but it's when we can take care of, and I've heard Chad say it before, from the top of the building to the blades of grass. We can do everything and everything. So we call that an everywhere concept. We can look at your building from the start to the finish to the end and all that in between. And the whole beauty of where you are in this process today is you're probably in that 4th box right there. And that's where the most opportunity probably for you exists. So jump ahead real quick, page 6. I'm going to explain this to you real quick. I'm going to turn it back over to Chad, and then that'll all be done. Who we are, on item 7, we are a partner. We have 300 employees. And of those 300 employees, I'm proud to admit 250 of them are in trucks. And they're out servicing our customers and building things for our customers and reinvigorating our customers. The other 50 are all the people that need to do to get that work done. And so we have very low on overhead, very low on, I am a member of our board. I've been with Perfection 30 years. And I'm proud to say that I got Chad from a relationship I met a couple years ago with him, and he's helped us tremendously in the schools market. And all 4 of my sons work for the company. Never asked one of them to, but they all proudly have served the company and customers like you. And with that being said, I just want to say that if you can look at that map on page number 5, that's where we are. We don't go anywhere outside that map. So, and that's our offices. So that's our niche. That's where we are. That's what we do, and that's where we plan to stay. So those are all our offices, and those are all manned school service staff buildings to do the work that we do for you. And our value statement is we self-perform all the work. Only one person to call if you need something, and generally that's me. And I got to be honest with you, I rarely receive phone calls, rarely. And I stay active too. As you know where I am, you can almost find me any day of the week in a little district south of here. So that's it. Chad, you can go from here.
Sure. You all had a comment made by I think she was an instructional assistant, and she mentioned that she is a Christian, and that just makes me think of the golden rule. And for school corporations, and I'm a former superintendent, former chief operating officer, former assistant superintendent. I taught 3rd grade. I taught freshman math. I was a middle school principal. I've always tried to follow the golden rule, but back in about 2008, the golden rule changed for the state of Indiana, and the golden rule became those in Indianapolis have the gold, so they make the rules. And we had to try and make it work. If you remember back in 2008, the budget was cut by $300 million for schools, and we had to make it work. And Salem, you're no different than any other school corporation that we work with. We work with a lot of school corporations. You have to try and make your budget every single year, and you have to try and do the absolute best you can. And that's what we pride ourselves in helping with our partnerships. We're not a vendor. You're not a customer. You're a partner. And we're here for the long haul. That's a differentiator for us. When I was at Greater Clark County Schools as the chief operating officer, district of about 10,000 students. I know you're all familiar with Jeffersonville, Charlestown, New Washington, that area. We were bleeding profusely operationally to the tune of about $3 million a year. We had to stop and do something completely different. So I started looking and found Perfection, and thank goodness I did, because they were able to come in, as Tony mentioned, as a family-owned company. They were able to come in and help stop that bleeding, guarantee savings, which they far exceeded for the district, and right the ship. So operational savings is what we're all about. We are at 121% of all of our guaranteed energy savings contracts. So in layman's terms, if it's a $500,000 project, if it's $500,000 in savings that you're going to generate for a project, we're at 121% of that, which means $600,000 is what true savings, actual savings a district would see in that type of scenario. So we're very, very proud of that. One of our owners, I mentioned the grandsons, John Albrecht, he is a mechanical engineer. Todd Albrecht, his brother, one of the other owners of the company. Todd has actually got a background in education. He's taught for Teach Across America, and he came back to the family-owned company. So we're very, very proud of that. Our 300 employees, our 300 associates work tirelessly every single day. We have in-house energy engineers, we have in-house mechanical engineers, we have in-house design team members. So our goal is to enter into a partnership with Salem Community Schools, find those savings. The next steps for us would be to immediately bring our team in. As I just mentioned, we have some energy engineers that I've used this term, and I don't think I offend them. I've said it in front of them, and they just laugh. They really geek out over this stuff. They love it. They love going into the mechanical rooms. They love going up into the crawl, or down on the crawl spaces, up into your plenums, taking pictures. We would heavily invest our team. We'll get all of your energy statements and all of your utility bills. We'll do a deep dive analysis of all of those opportunities. And that's what we'll bring to you. We'll bring to you opportunities, because it's ultimately your project. It's going to be your project for guaranteed savings. You'll have a plethora of items that we've identified. Some will be, as we refer to, as low-hanging fruit. Some of those returns on investments. Lighting is a good example of that you're going to need and we're going to recommend. But ultimately, it's your project. There's going to be a lot of things that we're going to be bringing to Dr. Rutherford and his team. We're going to be here for the long haul. That's another differentiator for us. We're not a typical ESCO. We're not a typical savings contractor, in that once the project's done, substantial completion is signed off on, and then that contractor, that group leaves. That's not us. We are here for the long haul. We are here to stay. We're here to be that partner. We just heard a presentation from the Washington County Community Foundation. We are heavily involved in the Greater Clark Education Foundation. We were just at their spring gala. We were just named the Business Partner of the Year. Very proud of that accolade. Tony was there to receive that. We found rebates from prior projects at Greater Clark that were never submitted. And that's one of the things that we pride ourselves in doing. We pride ourselves in finding those funding streams. Not only do you have ESSER funding, and you're all aware of the ESSER 3 funding. The federal government did kick that can down the road a little bit, but the time is ticking. You have to have that money encumbered by September of 2024 and off your books officially, meaning that those things need to be ordered very, very quickly. And you have some money left. Dr. Rutherford and I have talked about some of those things. He has shared with me some of the capital projects that he has identified, and I'm assuming through the work with you and his team. So we're here, we're invested, we want to do this project for you, and we're going to jump right in with both feet, and we're not going to look back, and we're going to bring you a huge project of guaranteed energy savings that's going to benefit within your budget. As Tony mentioned, we're always on budget. You're not going to have change orders. You're not going to have multiple contractors. We do have the ability to bring subcontractors in. So talking with Dr. Rutherford, if there's contractors locally that are preferred, that are experienced with the board, we bring those individuals in, we bring those teams in to be a part of our overall project team. And I'll open it up for questions now.
We're very familiar with the ESSER, so if there's any gray area in that, we can mine our way through that pretty simply.
And where are you based out of?
So our corporate headquarters are in Cincinnati, Ohio. We have offices in Louisville, Kentucky, Indianapolis. We have offices in Columbus, Ohio. So we are in that regional 5-state footprint. Office in Nashville, Knoxville, Tennessee, one office in West Virginia.
I was actually that first dot there. That very first dot that looks like Lexington, Kentucky. Back in 1995, Jack Albrecht called me and asked me if I'd be interested in starting a business there, and I did. And so we did that in 95, and every one of those dots were what we call cold starts. We put people there and then went out and developed the business. We did buy a business in Knoxville and Nashville, but the rest were done by sweat equity and just hiring good leadership and good people. And our mission really is about comfortable learning environments for the kids. That's our statement of quality for the kids.
Obviously, you guys get feedback from the existing staff, of course.
Oh gosh, yes.
Absolutely. Matt, obviously, I'm not a building maintenance guy. We have a building maintenance guy here. Matt, do you have any questions?
I'd be interested in seeing more of your work you've done recently to other
Sure.
corporations and things.
Sure.
And then, like I said, do a walkthrough of
So you'll be the one that'll be probably boots on the ground for us. You'll be taking us around on our team. So we would be getting with Matt.
Yeah, and your program won't work without him.
Obviously.
Because he is the eyes and ears that helps us develop it with his input. He's, I don't want to say it, he's more important than Chad or I ever would be. Him and you would work very close with our team.
Excellent. Good.
Any other questions?
Well, okay, so your team, if they come in and they do the work, then let's say, you know, there's a hiccup or something like that. Is there someone going to be with us at all times to
Yes, ma'am.
come back? Or if we have, you know, something that, you know, I mean, anytime you're talking about a project, you're never 100%, you know, you know, hope everything goes smooth, but if there's a bump, is that something that you guys come back and help us through, or?
Yeah, what it looks like basically is we do the initial, what we would call surveys, and then we would sit down with you and we say, where's your pain? Where are you feeling the most pain? And then we would develop more like a shopping list that we would review with you all and say, does this make sense? Is there something we're missing here? No, we need to put a bank of windows in that side of that building there, or this roof is bad, or man, you're laughing like I might have hit a few things. So it's a total collaborative effort, and it takes an effort of pretty much everybody that you have here. So it's very common for us to do meetings with him with the input from all of you before we even put that shopping list together that you look at. But we're nimble. We can develop it pretty quick.
And ongoing communication is going to be key. That's critical. And that's kind of what you're speaking to. You know, you would have me and or a team member, but more than likely it's going to be me.
He's just quarterback.
That would be. That's exactly right. I'll be quarterbacking the entire project from start to finish. I'll be the one to communicate with Dr. Rutherford. Communicate if Dr. Rutherford says, "Hey, can you attend a work session with the board and give us an update?" I'll be the person to gather all that information, put the presentation together, and be there. Dr. Rutherford calls and says, hey, I'm having a meeting, an admin team meeting with all my principals. Can you be there to talk about the project, where we're at, where we're going, next steps, next 2 weeks, next 2 months? That would be me and my team members as well. But having that ongoing communication is going to be very, very critical and key.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, gentlemen.
All right, thank you all.
Sorry, Matt, didn't mean to put you on the spot, but you're the maintenance guy in the room, buddy.
Anybody need another one of these? Everybody got one?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, consider approval of perfection as professional services guaranteed energy savings and facilities improvements for Salem Community Schools.
So moved.
Motion made by Steve Motzinger, seconded by Allison Ezell. All in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, same sign. Motion passes 6-0. Consider approval of SHS Science and Health textbook adoption for 2023. Becky Humphrey makes the motion, seconded by Rebecca White. All in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, same sign. Motion passes 6-0. Consider approval to adopt Ag, Food, and Natural Resources for the Salem Middle School 8th grade students.
I'll make a motion.
Allison Ezell makes the motion, seconded by Becky Humphrey. All in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, same sign. Motion passes 6-0. Consider approval to adopt SMS Elevate Science, grades 6 through 8.
I'll make a motion.
Allison Ezell makes the motion,
I'll second.
seconded by Rebecca White. All in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, same sign. Motion passes 6-0. Consider approval of SHS. Did I miss one there? Consider approval of SHS SMS BSE handbooks for the 2023-2024 school year.
So moved.
Motion made by Steve Motzinger,
Second it.
seconded by Allison Ezell. All in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, same sign. Motion passes 6-0. Consider approval of the following fundraisers. I'll read through all these fundraisers and we'll approve them all at once. Salem Military Club, online cafe, online coffee and treat sales, Java Joe's. Disney Club, online coffee and treat sales, Java Joe's. Girls Basketball Golf Scramble, April 30th, 2023. Food Design, Saturday Food Science Event, May 6, 2023. SMS BSE ticket sales to Wilston and Big Splash, May 3rd through 10th, 2023. SHS volleyball fundraiser. Soapy Joe's detergent, youth volleyball clinic, volleyball team apparel, golf scramble, team yard signs, volleyball t-shirt, May, June, July, and August. Boy, they're going to be busy. Rebecca White makes the motion, seconded by Allison Ezell. All in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, same sign. Motion passes 6-0. Items from staff.
I just want to say we got a great opportunity. I hate being in front of the camera. We got a great opportunity this past Friday at the opening or the dedication, the celebratory event for the Mon South Rail. It's a $185 million project by the state of Indiana that's going to connect New Albany to almost to Bedford. They're still trying to work on that, but it's going through our little city as well. And it's a great opportunity. The opportunity for us, they called me about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago and said, hey, the governor's coming. You gotta keep this a secret. Don't tell anybody, can't tell anybody anything. So that's, I got my staff together. They said, we want SLNN to go ahead and cover it. So obviously we jumped at it. Well, I jumped at it. My kids I told them they're coming. And I pulled two of the best reporters. It's a great real world opportunity for these kids in this broadcast club. What made it different than other things was the fact that we didn't go in with any preloaded questions. If anybody's ever been interviewed by us, you'll know we already have the questions and we go with it. Well, I took my two best reporters, Sydney Brown and Elaine Houchin, and I had my main man, Braden, doing the camera work. And what they did was phenomenal. They sat there and listened to the presentation from the governor, from the mayor, Mayor of Salem, Mayor of New Albany, and so many other people that were involved in it. And they were able to come up with a bunch of questions. Then they said, okay, everybody go and go to the interview. So it was our first foray into a scrum, if you will. And we kind of held back. One of the guys that was one of the governor's handlers, he said, you're a school that does this? And yes, he goes, that's how I started. So we got, Elaine Houchin got an exclusive interview with the governor, and she did a great job with that. And then we got another interview with the mayor talking about this project. And again, these are questions that I didn't know what they were going to ask, which is kind of scary as a teacher, as a sponsor. And but they did a phenomenal job. I didn't really worry about anything. They acted professional. They represented Salem Community Schools well. And it was a great opportunity for them. I can't say enough. Like Mr. Albert has since day one supported SLNN, and I can't say how awesome it's been for the past 5 years to see this program grow to where it's at now. That we have people calling us and saying, "Hey, can you cover this event? We'd love to have you there." So it's a great opportunity, and I just wanted to share with everybody.
I thought that was so cool that y'all got to do that. Y'all
and the
all my praises and things.
Yeah, the
like
interviews and
like
everything are out
check
there.
them off
So
the
if
list,
you want to take a gander at it. So.
No, it was really impressive.
Thank you, JD.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Non-action items. Okay. New board business. Okay. Superintendent's report.
Just throwing out congratulations to Blair Thompson. Just found that out today that the Indiana Bar Foundation has offered him a spot in the 2023-24 We Are the People. It's a Civics Empowers All Students. He is one of 13 teachers in Indiana and 300 nationally who will participate in the program. His first gig will be going to the Summer Institute in Philadelphia, and that'll be July the 8th through the 12th this summer. And the best part of the grant and the best part of this is they pay for all the expenses as well. So congrats to him. Also, something that just kind of formalities as well. Salem Community Schools, we did transfer 0.53 in excess from our educational fund to our operation fund, and with that, we know we just have to go public with it. We did this because we transferred $100,000 at the end of the year just to make sure that we were in a positive balance in the operation fund. So that was just formalities there. We also have the Unified Champions. They will be going to Paoli tomorrow for their track and field meet. And we also have several of our Lions Unified members volunteering as well. And then Jana, you have some good news for us.
I do. I'm going out of my comfort zone, but I'm passionate about the REACH grant. So this Thursday, Salem High School will be hosting the regional 21st Century and the REACH grant meeting. We will have 30 or so grantees and some DOE dignitaries visiting our school. We are excited to be showing off all our exciting things our teachers have done with the grant and having them see our great facilities. We are just thrilled to death that they picked us to host the meeting. So that's this Thursday. So.
This Thursday. Mm-hmm. Yay.
I love the REACH grant and all the things that they're going to do. Presentation a few weeks ago, or 2 months ago, I think, on that.
It's a great grant.
It really is. Such a great grant.
And we're closing out the year. May 27th is going to be graduation at 2 o'clock. Yeah.
Positive praises. Becky.
Oh.
Would you like to go first?
I was just saying that makes everybody a lot happier, and I know the kids and everybody's busting to get ready into their summer, and I think everybody's doing a wonderful job. It's great to hear. We had a great prom. We've had great field trips. These field trips are like none other, and like the 8th grade field trip to DC. Everybody's there's so many great things going on. I just give praise that we can do that, and Karen with the food and able to feed people and help us out, help our students out, and all the support. It's a great thing. So Salem Community Schools is very proud of everyone, and a big thumbs up, I guess.
Already talked about Lions News Network. And also the, Monica, I think you're kind of the one heading up all the little articles and things that are being done. And it's so nice to see, you know, the different teachers and programs and things being highlighted. And I just think it's cool that the kids are getting to write those pieces and to also bring attention to the great things that are going on. Yay to the little circuit breakers who went to Houston to, and it sounded like, what award was it they got? The
Challenge Solution.
The Challenge Solution.
So
Well,
they were problem solving skills. They had
you know what? If you can have kids that age with problem-solving skills, yay, teaching them something. But it looked like just such an amazing experience and trip, and the things that the kids were telling about it. I love that y'all got to do that and have that. Congratulations to the Brady Strum Elementary first place in Math Bowl as well. Wanted to give a little shout out to Roseanne Quattroke. She has the Art Gives Back, and you can buy something and she will donate to whatever. And it seems like each month there's always something that she's donating back to the schools. So I just want to, I don't know if she watches this or not, but thank you for to her for giving back to the community. Like I said, Friday is Honor Day. If you've never been, I love Honor Day. Even if I don't necessarily know the kids, there's so much excitement for them and celebration, and so I love Honor Day.
Just to touch on the REACH grant too. So when we had our executive session, we met in one of the little rooms. I think that they've redone, with the help of, it sounds like, some of the maintenance guys as well. But if you haven't seen the room on the side of the library, it is very impressive. So very neat, happy room. And let's see. Also, I want to give a shout out to Mr. Albert and Mrs. Purley because of the honor days that you have done every Monday, I think for the last 4 weeks, for the freshman, sophomore, junior, and then today the seniors did have one as well. So very nice. And then SLNN, they always put it online so people that can't attend can watch it as well. So it's very nice. And then also the football team. I saw where they did their mulch fundraiser, which I know is a fundraiser, but it also, they're providing a service to the community for people that, you know, really could benefit from their help. So hopefully teaching the boys how to give back as well. So shout out to them.
Well, I just want to say that last few months has been a little bit hectic to a certain extent, but I think we're moving forward very positive. I see a lot more positive in tonight's meeting. Our teachers, the community that comes and speaks, and you know, we're not a school corporation that would ever give up. We're always going to be here, and I'm very proud of it. I'm very proud to be here, and I just want everybody to know that we're doing our best, and we're going to move forward from now on. Good.
Okay. Well, just piggyback on what Becky said about the DC trip. I'm glad that's continued for all these years. I don't know where we are on that. Also, I understand, I think there's a canoe trip coming up before too long. That's something that started several years ago by Sherry White. This Saturday is the track meet with the Lions United. Anybody want to come out and help? I'll be there, so I'll put you to work as a starter. And I think, and also, I don't want to leave this out. My son-in-law would get after me for this. Baseball team won the county championship. First time in a long time. So.
That's great.
That's it.
Just would like to wish the class of 2023, crazy to say 2023, like Allison said, if you ever get an opportunity to go to Honor Day, it's very rewarding. Some of the gifts that these kids get, they don't realize how much they are until they open an envelope. So it's really nice to see. It's always nice to stand by the door when people get certain ones and they take them outside to get their pictures. The sight that you see on some of these kids' faces, it's really nice. And just best wishes to all those, all the graduates this year. Wish them all the best. So next regular monthly meeting, June 12th, 2023. Have a motion to adjourn. Steve Motzinger makes the motion, seconded by Allison Ezell. All in favor, raise your right hand. Motion passes 6-0. Adjourned.